Steve Benson, founder of Badger Mapping. You were a guest on the Sales Podcast, man, and now you're on the CRM Sushi Podcast. Thanks for carving out some time and explaining to us what the heck is Badger Mapping, man. How are you?
Pretty good, Wes. I'm really excited to be here.
I love your story. I actually just did your interview last week on Sales Podcast, and I liked what I heard. I had mentioned how I wish I had your software 17 years ago, but better late than never, huh?
I know, right? I think I might have been in college 17 years ago, so I hadn't thought of anything useful whatsoever for the world. So
I mean, you were at some little struggling little college on the West Coast, right?
I went to so I went to Stanford for business school, but I was actually an undergrad in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, very cool. Wisconsin, they were showing up for the for March Madness, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. It's an exciting time of year here. I don't, for people that are listening to this podcast at an odd time, it's currently March 20th today.
Yeah, baby. Upset Villanova. Very nice. I could talk about that forever. But hey, we're here to talk about business.
We're talking about business.
So you were in development at Google, or what was your role there?
I was in sales at Google, actually, field sales.
Cool.
So my whole career up until when I started Badger was actually in field sales. The last thing I sold at Google was their Google Maps API. So companies, obviously anyone can go and use Google Maps on the web, but companies actually purchase it if they want to add it to their corporate website or build a product around it the way we have.
So wait a minute. You were in sales working on mapping technology, and then you created a tool for salespeople around mapping?
I know. I'm the least creative entrepreneur maybe ever. Like it was literally just right there. It's one of these things where I had the problem. I'd always had the problem. Not 17 years ago, but close. My whole I've always been in field sales, and the the problems that Badger has set out to solve are the problems that every field salesperson deals with all the time.
Now,
so I don't get any stars for creativity.
So are like Wisconsin Badgers like bad with directions because of like the whiteout? Like you don't know which way what's the south? So deep down, is that why you really created it?
That's right. Well, it's actually funny. I was a geography major at the University of Wisconsin.
Get out!
Yeah,
I was a geography major at the Air Force Academy.
Really? Yep. It's a fun major, but I think I'm one of the only geography majors to ever go on to use maps. I'm not sure. There's not a lot of
yeah. Well, I then went to A&M. I got a degree in meteorology. I did that in the Air Force, so I did use maps for about 5 years, and then that was it.
There you go. I got the degree in geography and then didn't use a map for about 15 more years or so, but except to get around the territory and find my way around.
Right.
When I started in sales, we still had the Rolodex, which I had in my car, and I had the paper map. I had the whole book of California of every street in California, and a book about that thick.
Right.
And my contacts list on paper, and my calendar was in a little paper notebook, and effectively jumped back and forth doing those things for a whole bunch of workflows, and it's all of those workflows and all of those items that Badger kind of put all in one place together, working together.
Yeah.
Right on the iPhone or on the computer.
Yeah, I sold in Dallas a lot. I was in 2000. That was my main territory, but I would drive up from Austin. And a friend of mine that lived in Dallas, he gave me this little laminated sheet folded out, and it was the DFW area. So it was zoomed out, showed the whole thing, and on the backside it zoomed in on the suburbs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I used that thing for years. It was a good tool. My only real option was to print everything out. Yahoo Maps before I drove up there.
Right.
But now you're taking it to a whole nother level. So what's the concept here? What What are you doing with this Badger mapping?
Well, at its core, what we're doing is we've created an application to help field salespeople be more successful. So that basically means we try to do a lot of busy work for them, and we try to take a lot of like the tedious parts of the job and just do those automatically for them, so that they can focus on what's important, selling to customers. There's a lot of administrative work and a lot of busy work that goes along with it that you kind of have to do to be successful in sales, but it's not actually the core selling activity. And those are the things that we've really gone after. And a lot of it had to do with the juggling of the map and the calendar and the scheduling and the contacts and the information about the contacts. So in terms of what that looks like, it's when you look at Badger, it's a map, and you can see your customers on it. You can click on your customers and bring up all the information about them. You can colorize the different points on the map by any type of attribute, any type of thing that you know about the customer, like what type of customer is it, how big is the customer, how much are they buying, when did I last visit with them. And so you can colorize the different points in the map by any of those attributes that allow you to focus on who's most important and spend time with the people that are most important that you haven't been spending enough time with, or that are ready for you right now. So that's what it looks like. Other things that it can do is we help you build out and automatically route and schedule your day. So you might kind of focus in on a certain group of customers and then say, okay, those are the ones that I want to see next Thursday, because I know I'm going to be out in that suburb anyway. So who's on the way to that suburb, who's on the way home, who's important, and what order do I want to see them in. Badger will give you an automatically optimized route, and then you can play with the times on it and say, oh, well, if I'm going to be with this guy for an hour, then it takes me 20 minutes to get to the next person, then this is a good time to meet with them. And kind of the whole juggling of the schedule, which is always hard because things are constantly changing last minute. And Badger makes that really easy to like rejuggle and rework your schedule throughout the day. So that's the second major thing we do. Then we also bring in leads from other sources for the customers. For example, if you sell to dentists, we bring in all the dentists in the country. If you sell to auto body shops, we bring in all the auto body shops. If you sell to cardiologists, we bring in all the cardiologists. And all that information is just in Badger. So those are kind of the core things we do. There's a bunch of reporting stuff where we can kind of capture information, send it back to the CRM automatically without the rep having to kind of capture all the data, but we can just, with a few taps of a button, we can send back what's important and kind of keep the CRM up to date. And any changes to the CRM, we're obviously showing the rep, because we're basically a way of looking at that CRM data. So that's the quick overview on kind of what we do for the rep in the field.
Can it show me who has money?
That's a new feature on the iPhone that Apple's got coming out.
Oh, nice.
Who has the money? Who has the money sniffer? They call it.
Can it show me like who are the Iowa Hawkeye fans? Because those are like better people to hang out with than silly Badger. Badgers are like mean,
aggressive, right? They if you, the Hawkeye has some claws too, I think, and it can fly. We actually see a surprising number of people. It's funny you bring it up, like save data like that, like favorite sports team, depending on the industry, right? But like they'll have a space for that in Badger, and they fill out everyone's favorite sports team or what little details about the person, how many kids they have, are they married, just whatever types of information that a rep wants to capture about their customers for whatever reason. Badger is very flexible, and they can create a place in Badger to put that information.
So does Badger become your CRM, or does it simply connect with like the main CRMs out there so they can get more out of it?
So Badger's goal is to connect with the CRMs out there. You don't have to use Badger with a CRM, but so Badger, from the data source that Badger is showing on the map, can be the data in your CRM. And Badger can be communicating back and forth with your CRM in real time. And in that respect, it becomes the front end to your CRM for when you're in the field. you still use your CRM when you're doing things that you would do at your desk that don't have anything to do with the time in the field. Reporting on your inventory, or the figuring out what your pipeline is, and forecasting type information, running reports. Those types of CRM activities you would still do in the CRM, but what you would do in Badger is view all the customers that you have in your CRM on a map and be able to schedule and plan out your day very quickly and easily.
Right. So I see a feature like days since last visit. So I could pull that up, and somebody I haven't seen in 90 days, whatever, and it's red, right? So I can say, okay, I need to go see these people today or this week. But same thing, you have next step. So if the next step, if I'm in the qualification or maybe the negotiation stage, or even contract proposal submitted, and they're dragging butt, I could get in there and just coincidentally, hey, I'm in your lobby to pick up the contract. Right?
I was just in the neighborhood and thought I'd swing by. You want some coffee?
Yeah.
Exactly. So what we see a lot of people doing is using the days since last visit feature. What it does, what we see people doing is they'll have different types of customers who are kind of at different levels, like let's just the easy A, B, C, and D customers, right, is an easy way to look at it. Some company, some people have names for it, gold, silver, platinum, whatever. But they'll say, hey, I want to see my A customers. Anyone who I've said is an A customer, I want to see them every month. Maybe I've got a deal in the pipe with them, something like that. But I want to see them every month. So what they'll do is they'll say, okay, make everything disappear off the map except for my A customers, and now show me the ones that I haven't seen in 23 days. And to do, in that way they can say, well, these are the handful of customers that I really want to see this week, or else it will have been more than 30 days. Right. Maybe you've got another type of customer, your B customers, and you really want to see them every 60 days. So you can go back to you and say, okay, now show me my B customers who I haven't seen in 53 days. Right. And you can set it to exactly what you want whenever you want it. And then by doing that, you can kind of flag, these are the customers that I really want to see this week and this coming week, and you can plan it out. You can do it 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance, however deep you want to go. But you can kind of do this in minutes without having to really rack your brain. And it's amazing the number of cycles, thought cycles that salespeople have to spend kind of keeping track of all this busy work stuff. Whereas if you just give them a tool, they can bring all this stuff up in 2 seconds. They can plan out their time very, very effectively and really be much more on the ball without having to kind of worry about it.
Right. So if I click on one of those icons, it'll pull the customer up, right? And can I edit or make notes there, and it'll synchronize back to my CRM to keep it updated?
Yeah. That's exactly the point. So, can you see my screen here? I'm not.
Yes.
Okay. So so when you click on the point, like the details come up, the name of, in this case, it's a doctor that you're selling to, and any of the data that you have from your CRM here. So
all of those fields, all those details, they are being pulled in from my CRM?
Right, in real time. So if you change this on your CRM side, it'll change here. If you change it here, it'll change in the CRM.
Okay.
And so that's just the data that comes through. We provide a little picture of the location. You can edit the address. Kind of a free form notes area, and then the history tab is a record of all your official meetings, your check-ins with the customer.
Right.
And that's what it's running the days since last visit math off of. So when you're using this on your iPhone, you've kind of built out your day. You're just clicking through your day, and you're in something that we call route mode. Which is really pretty cool because you just can flash through your whole day and kind of navigate and give yourself turn-by-turn directions, and also with a click of a button capture the activity information, and you decide what types of information you want to capture from each meeting, and then Badger will just provides drop-downs for you, so you can just click right through the data, maybe do like a speech to text into the phone for your notes and save it, and that saves right here, and also gets pushed back to the CRM.
Very cool. And so, like, add to route. If I click that button, that adds them to my route for today, or
yeah.
So I'm basically saying, okay, this is somebody I want to see today.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you create a route, then or if you add somebody to your route, then it just shows up here on your route. You can kind of, let's just say that I'm starting here at Badger in San Francisco, and I will end there as well.
So 24 minutes to get there, 30-minute meeting.
If I can only type, there we go. And you can, maybe I also want to see this doctor while I'm there, and this doctor, and let's say this one. And now I just optimize the route, give myself the best way to do it, and then I can just save my route. And I'll just call this Tuesday. And save. And so just like that, and I can use the filters on this stuff. I can kind of figure out who I want to go to. Maybe the times. Maybe I want to change the times. Maybe I want to start earlier or later. This is the start time. And then when I just change the start time there, you might have noticed everything else changed throughout the whole day. You can change the length of the appointments. Maybe it's an hour and a half for this meeting.
Nice.
You can see all this change. It's a very quick way of figuring out kind of what you're doing and when. If you
Now, what's practical here? Because so that's ideal, right? So I map that out. I'm like, hey, these are people I haven't seen in 90 days or 30 days or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I want to see them, but you got Dr. Garrett there, mm-hmm. appointment E. I may not yet have an appointment with them. So,
right. So you want to work that into whatever workflow you have. And a lot of times what happens is reps start out with, three appointments or something. And they kind of know, well, this is kind of, I know that I have this appointment, and this appointment. They're at these times. Well, who else should I be seeing? Well, I'll be right by this guy. It's just mm-hmm. 10 more miles down the street, or it's 1 more mile down the street, I guess.
Cool.
So I could add them in. I'll be driving right by this guy, so maybe I'll give them a call, and even if they don't want me, maybe I'll drop by. So just depending on what some reps just get to drop by places. Other reps really need to have an appointment for every single thing, but a lot of times they will start with kind of what I call a skeleton of their route, and then they'll look to fill it in.
And that's what I would do. I'd have. Especially when I was covering like the whole West Coast, but like LA was obviously a big part for me. I would call, set one firm appointment like 2 weeks from now, mm-hmm. and then work like crazy. And I'd have to manually look these people up, mm-hmm. In the area. Hey, I'm going to be there Tuesday. I'm there Tuesday to Thursday. Tuesday afternoon. I got Tuesday morning. How's your Tuesday afternoon look? How's your Wednesday morning look? Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then try to set as many as I could, but I couldn't always set them. So then it'd be, all right, I'm going to just drop in. I'm going to hand some literature. I'm going to see if I can barge in and see if they'll see me.
Yeah. But sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, right? I mean, it's just depending on the industry. But that's exactly the workflow that we, the part where you said I had to work my butt off on kind of the, this busy work type activity. That's what we're trying to smooth, right? We want to show you, here are the people that you have in your CRM or on your customer list, from a spreadsheet or wherever you keep your customer list. Here's what the area looks like. Here's where they're at. And if you want other people, let's just say you sell the dermatologists. So, I can bring up all the dermatologists, on the map. And so here, now we see the dermatologists are coming in, and we can click on them and say, okay, well, dermatologists, associates of Berkeley, and this is not from your CRM. This is data from us.
Sure.
And so you can kind of look at it and say, oh, actually, yeah, that's someone pretty. This is interesting. And maybe I go to their website, and check it out.
And are you just pulling this from Google Maps?
So the Badger has a couple data partnerships that,
Okay.
that we've worked out. The Google place, all the places that Google knows about is one of them. And then and basically what we're doing is we're surfacing that information to people in real time when they want it.
Right.
So you can just add this to your route now if that's a good one, and you can click on this dermatologist in Alameda over here.
Yep.
And you can say, well, is that interesting? Okay, yeah, I want to give them a call, or I've never met with them before, so maybe I just got to show up, you know.
Now, is there anything like a Hoover's or anything? Because that'd be nice if it said, you know, Wes Schaefer's the CEO, and you know, Amy Jones is. Yeah,
one of our data partnerships does allow us to do that. We have a partnership with a company called Inside View that allows us to kind of get that rich corporate data, and like that structured corporate data. So like if you're selling to dermatologists, that's less useful because
Sure.
it's all these little offices. But what if you were selling to software companies?
Right.
Now that data is available in things like a Hoover's or an Inside View. If I wanted to bring up the software companies in the map, I can do that. So.
Okay. And is that Inside View? Is that like an add-on, or is it included?
Yeah, that's an add-on. That data partnership, we can add that data in for people if they want it.
Okay.
So I can bring up the software companies, and then if we enable the Inside View, then you can use that to see, well, who's the CEO at Tech Validate, who's their CTO, who's their VP of Sales, stuff like that. So that's a really pretty useful tool as well, because this isn't about branch data. Like there aren't, this is not a small company like a dentist's office or a dermatologist's office or something. This is a corporation.
Sure. Very cool. So you were going to show that lasso feature?
Yeah, sure. I can show that. Let me clear my current route, and we'll make a new one with the lasso here. So turn off the software companies. So what the lasso does is allows you to say, well, I want to just grab a certain set of points in an area here. So I want to grab these guys right there, not that guy. I don't want to see him, and just generate a route or do a mass update. A mass update is if I wanted to change the attributes of this. Maybe I wanted to. If I was managing territories, I wanted to move things from one territory to another, or maybe I wanted to label all these as, kind of targets for my inside salesperson to focus on trying to get meetings for me on a certain day because I'm going to be in this area. If I wanted to change some attribute about all of them, I could just do that with the lasso. Or if I click on Create Route, then it'll just build a route here for me.
Nice.
That's maybe I'll start in Albany, California here, up in the upper left, and we'll finish there as well. Albany. And that is my route for the day.
So yeah, anywhere there's like a Wisconsin Badger alumni meeting, we can like avoid that area, right? Like just draw the lasso around it.
Yeah, you can just, let's just say that point H here, Dr. Joe was a Badger
just
alumni
delete
meeting.
them.
You just press that red X. It jumps right off.
Gone,
boom. And then you can just optimize your route again, and now you're going right around that point.
Very nice. Because, the Badgers, you had to go beat my LSU Tigers the opening game last season, so I'm still kind of smarting from that,
It wasn't personal at all. It really wasn't. It was.
It's all business, baby. Just got to get it done.
My little cousin's a Hawkeye, actually, and he's getting married this summer. He's so I'm going to go to Michigan, actually, where she's from, to the fine town of Detroit to go to the wedding.
So so you are open-minded in that regard, right? You will visit opposing cities.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
actually, while I'm out there, I'm going to go to Ann Arbor.
Oh
So,
man.
so I'm very open minded. I mean, I live in California now, so
Wow.
I try to keep an open mind all the time.
Very nice. All right. So if Stanford plays Wisconsin, who do you pull for?
You know, this is actually a touchy thing in my family because my sister went to Stanford for undergrad, and Wisconsin has this history of just pounding Stanford into the pavement in the Rose Bowl games. So when my sister and I were both in college, the two played each other in a Rose Bowl, and Madison just ground Stanford's nose into the turf, and I felt really bad about that, of course. And but yeah, so it's a little touchy in my family. But
Do you wear
but
like a Stanford hat and a Wisconsin shirt or something like that?
I did go to a bowl game dressed like that, and people thought I was crazy, but or just thought I'd mugged someone for their hat or something in the parking lot. But yeah, no, it is a tough thing in our household, I'd say, because I'm happy either way, I guess, in those, but I do pull for Wisconsin.
All right. So this you can map like all the parties. So this is a very useful tool for a salesperson, especially.
Yeah, people do use this for mapping lots of things, not just customers, but that's the main use case. People also use it for travel, mapping your point. If you're going to Rome or something, you map all the restaurants you want to go to and all the major sites, and map walking tours. We've seen people do road trips with their RVs. I mean, it at its core, it is a mapping tool. I mean, I think it's built for field salespeople, but it turns out that being able to map your own points like this are useful for lots of things. Parties, right. I guess. I've never seen that use case, but it could be done.
And so as far as your company, I mean, you've been around for a little while, right? I mean, stable. So people, if they want to invest in this and use it for their company, I mean, you're sales up and to the right.
Yeah. The company's been doing great. We've been at it for 5 years now, and the product's pretty slick. Once people start using it, they don't tend to stop, and it's we haven't taken on a lot of risk as a company, really. Like, we didn't bring on any venture capital money. We've kind of grown it from the ground up, and so it's been done very sustainably. Like, there's not, so sometimes when people grow businesses and they take on a lot of aggressive money, I guess I would call it. That money, the people that gave you that money that now have control of the business, they want it to, go big or go home. Right. Be a $10 billion company or go out of business for all we care. And so you see some companies that you thought were doing pretty well just kind of implode on themselves, and that won't happen here because we didn't take on that type of aggressive money, I guess. Sorry, right. my computer's
taking over your alerts.
Yeah, exactly. My little alerts here.
I keep trying to turn that off too. I don't know. Google just wants to alert me.
It's a feature in the calendar that you can turn off your alerts, and then it doesn't do that. But then, it's just one more way to miss a meeting.
I know. It vibrates on my phone and my watch. That's enough.
Do you have the Apple Watch?
I do.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I'd like it to vibrate on my wrist, but then I don't wear a watch now, but that I just carry the cell phone, obviously. But that's having my little calendar alerts and text messages on my wrist. That seems pretty useful.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it, and I got it for swimming because the new one is waterproof.
Are you a big swimmer?
Yeah, and so it's been nice having that. But now I've gotten used to it just for alerts and look at the weather, and because deep down I'm a weather geek. So hey.
Well, a geography major, that goes with the territory, right?
I know. Well, geography and meteorology, so
Earth systems.
Know what the weather is. So where do we send people to learn more? Do you have a trial, or how do people?
Yeah, we do have a free trial. The place to go is badgermapping.com. Just search Badger Map. You can't miss us. But it's www.badgermapping.com. Just as a sweetener for your listeners here, it just mentioned the name of the show, CRM Sushi, and we'll give anyone that mentions the name of the show 2 months free of Badger use.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Now, when is it going to be changed to whisper mapping? Is that happening? Is that going to happen soon? I mean, come on.
No plans for that.
Come on, man. That's a nice name, whisper mapping.
Whisper mapping.
We're going to take a survey. We're going to see what everybody says. And my mom, she can vote 100 times. And so just saying.
The badger's an aggressive animal,
I know. Salespeople
doesn't give up.
People should whisper. Just speak softly and carry a big negotiating stick.
I like it. Eh?
All right.
I mean, we are capable of changing the name here in the upper right. We have done that in the past for people. So we could make you your very own whisper mapping.
No, I like it. I like the way you think. That's a little subliminal message there, people. That's what we do with the Sales Whisper. Just plant the idea and let it just kind of foster and nurture and grow. Oh, yeah. They think it's their own idea and they just hand over their money.
That's the idea.
Very cool. Well, when y'all watch this, Steve's episode will already be live. That will be episode 243 of the Sales Podcast. You can hear his background and how he left a very good, lucrative, stable job to jump into the world of entrepreneurship. So thesaleswhisper.com/session 243. You can see the show notes and whatnot. And when this goes live, so Steve, this will be episode number 10 of the CRM Sushi podcast, man. So
nice. Lucky number 10. I'm excited.
10, top 10. So thanks for taking the time and sharing your wisdom, man. This looks like a great tool.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Wes. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a great day.
You too.